Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex. I am a real estate investor, and today on this video, just got a quick deal breakdown. So my intention with these videos is to kind of show you the deals I'm doing, the mistakes I'm making, the things I'm learning. Hopefully you can use this to accelerate your own journey here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is a duplex that I bought a little while ago. And just kind of here's the deal overview. It's in Dubuque, Iowa. That's where the majority of my rentals are. It was an off-market property, meaning it wasn't on Zillow, it wasn't on MLS, there was no realtors involved. I actually bought this on a land contract, and my long-term strategy is to just make it into a long-term rental. So how I found it, again, it's an off-market property, so that requires some off-market lead generation. And real quick, just a refresher for you guys, off-market lead generation, just three steps. You get a list of people that might potentially need your help. You get their contact information, and then you ask them if you can help. And that's essentially how you get off-market leads. So my specific method was I pulled a list of tired landlords. So this is people who have owned the property for a long time. And then I skip traced that using batch skip tracing to get phone numbers for each of those records. And then the outreach method was cold call. So uh, that's how I got the lead. The deal structure, like I said, it's not a traditional finance. So I do a lot of creative finance, and this one ended up being a land contract. So what that is it's essentially an installment sale. And it's agreement between you and the seller where technically the deed does stay in their name, but you get fee title. So you have like full rights to the property. You live there, you rent it out, you get the tax benefits. Literally everything. The property is 100% yours, but technically their name still is on title. In case you don't perform, they get that little added layer of security. So this ended up being, one advantage of doing installment sale land contract. You can get as creative as you want, and this deal would not have worked as a regular cash deal. So at the price that he was wanting, you have to go out and get a high interest rate loan, an investor loan, very expensive. The monthly payment's very high, and this deal just straight up would not have worked if we did that. So we ended up structuring in a way where I was able to come up to his price, and he was able to work with me on the down payment, the monthly payment, and give me a long term length so that we could structure this deal and make it a win win. So the deal structure continued here. The money, where did the money come from? How does this work? Everyone wants to know. Essentially, like I said, there was no bank involved, so he financed the property to me. But where did the down payment, the renovation, the closing costs, all that came from? That actually came from my network. So I raised the money for this deal. I have a private money lender on this deal. They are secured by a promissory note and a deed of trust. They are now getting a double-digit return. And the cool thing there is that it's backed by an asset that's, it's a real asset. It's insured. It has professional management. So it's kind of nice. A lot of people like to at least diversify, take some money out of the stock market, which can kind of be like a casino sometimes, and put a little bit of money in real estate, which is much more stable and has a lot of other tax advantages as well. So that's where the money came from. And a lot of people also like to ask too, why would a seller do a land contract deal? Why would they do a creative finance deal? And really, the answer to that is it solves a problem for them, right? So in this situation, this seller's particular problem, the taxes, they've owned this property forever. It's appreciated a lot. They really don't own anything. They would have taken a huge tax hit if they would have just sold it traditionally. So we structured it in a way where they're going to save a ton of money on taxes. Purchase price, they wanted a particular purchase price. That purchase price would not have worked if someone would have bought it traditionally. So we were able to structure it in a way where I could pay that purchase price. Management. This seller was really done being a landlord. They'd been a landlord for years and years and years and years. This was actually their last rental property, and they're selling off, and they did not want to be a landlord anymore. So, and then time, they're a busy business owner. They had another business, and they wanted this process to be smooth and easy. So, coming in, solving those problems, and then making a friend too. You want to you're especially with creative finance deals. It's kind of going to be a long term relationship between you guys. So you need to um, you need to build that relationship and make a friend. There's a saying that friends get deals, everyone else gets retail. So that's certainly true. And then also follow up. This one was in our database for a while. Uh, 16 months from the first initial contact to when I think we actually put it under contract. So, and I went back and counted, it was about 75 follow-ups. So people were like, hey, like, why haven't I got my first deal? And they follow up like once. This was 75 follow-ups. So use that as maybe an expectation reset. Like, hey, you need to be consistent. You need to follow up. So this one took some work to get done, but got it done. The exit strategy. So this is what I plan on doing with the deal in the long term. So this can be referred to as your exit strategy. And that might be, examples are like I'm about to do the Burr method, sell it, fix and flip, or long-term rental, short-term rental, XYZ. But what I'm going to do, the Burr method, so that essentially means I buy it, I renovate it, I rent it, I refinance it, and I repeat it. Uh, in this situation, since it's a creative finance deal and I believe it's a 20-year term, I'm not going to refinance anytime soon because I've got a good interest rate. I've got a very good monthly payment, but eventually, I will refinance this property. So the cool thing about creative financing is you can kind of take the Burr method and supercharge it. So with a lot of traditional burrs, you put 20% down and then you put the renovation costs into it and then you buy it, you renovate it, you rent it, then you refinance and get that cash back. But if you can structure it with creative finance where you never have to put cash in the first place, it's kind of supercharges this whole process, and that's really cool. So like I said at the bottom there, you don't need capital up front if you do it this way. And exit strategy. So this is kind of more into the numbers of what I am doing. So the rents when I bought it were $14.50. I've now got them to $21.50. The utilities, the gas and electric were split. I split the water, so the water, sewer, trash is one bill. It was about $200 per month. So I split the water. Now the tenants pay that, so now it's $0 for me. That actually, I really like doing that for a couple reasons, if possible. One is like I I hate trying to like chase around tenants um, for water payments or stuff like that. So if it's their responsibility, um, the city's contacting them directly and mailing them directly. It's just one more thing off my plate. Also, it aligns incentives much better in two ways. First is water usage. Like if somebody else is paying your water, like you're not incentivized at all to like use less water or be efficient or anything like that. It's literally just like somebody else is paying, do not care. So they just run the water like crazy. And then also like if there is a leak too or something like that, they're much more likely to tell me about it or tell the property manager about it because if something's leaking, they're paying for that because the water usage, right? So it's just all around, I think, a much better way to align incentives. So I really like that. And then going forward, the plan, I will be able to get this property to 2,500 rent per month. There's one unit that could be renovated, and also there is a storage shed on site in the back that I'm going to rent out separately. So in the long term, we'll get this thing to about 2,500 per month rental. And how do we do that? Just by taking the property that's ugly and messy and just clean it up, right? Clean it up, raise the rents. So lessons learned on this one. So totally relationships. So this was a deal that took a long time building that relationship with the seller. We had to solve a problem for them. So that's a big thing here for how you can do deals like this. There has to be some sort of value add that you can do. So and that kind of rolls into the next point. But you have to solve a problem. You have to add value to the seller, and then look for a value add, and that's referencing the property. So this was a value add situation where I could come in, I could clean it up, and I could raise rents. So that's what's called a value add. And another thing here was don't do it all on your own. That's always a big lesson that I'm continuing to learn. And I'm realizing that there's degrees to everything, right? It's not like, have I learned this lesson or not? It's to what degree. And I'm continuing to, I think, trend in the right direction. And, use more of a team, use people for lead generation and partner with people to to use their money on this project, right? So for example, like I partnered with my private money lender essentially. They brought in the money, I brought in the property and the management. The beautiful thing here is that we can repeat this process much faster. You know, if I don't have to wait and raise my own, or and save up my own cash to do deals like this, instead, I can partner with somebody. I can give them a lot of returns. I can buy the property, without using my own cash. So it takes the capital constraint off my growth, which is huge. And then follow up, which is kind of tied to the first one for sure, but just being consistent. And people dramatically underestimate the amount of effort or follow up or calls it takes to do something like this. But um, if you look at it through the lens of like all my competition is going to follow up like 5 times, and I'm going to be the one person who continues to follow up and be consistent and be there, like you're totally going to get deals. So that's the property. That's the breakdown. That's kind of how it's going right now. It's going well. It's cash flowing good. And if you are interested in investing together, I've got a link in the description. A couple advantages that I wish I would have honestly learned sooner, and maybe even how I should have started. But if you invest in somebody else's deal, two cool things happen. The obvious one is the earn section. You obviously get a high return on your money, so that's super cool. But something that's a little bit more interesting is that you also learn, and you're a part of a deal that you otherwise would not have been. And you get to see all the steps, the tips, the tricks. You can meet the vendors, you can see the process, and you can make this a repeatable process for yourself as well. Also, you get the credibility, you get the track record of being a part of that deal. So something kind of cool that I honestly wish I would have implemented sooner in my career. But if you're interested in that, click the link below. Let's see if we can work together, or if there's a way that we can make this happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you took something from it, and let me know what you'd like to see on the next one.